Okay, so we all like to say that open science is going to fix a lot of what's wrong with research, but here's the uncomfortable question. Do open science practices actually work? Right, so I was trying to figure this out and I found this paper from the Royal Society for Open Science that tried to answer exactly that. And honestly, it was kind of deflating. So let me take you through it. So they did a scoping review, which basically means they attempted to kind of map the entire evidence base for this. They found over 100 studies that actually test different interventions in terms of open science, which does sound pretty robust. But the slightly depressing thing was that they only found 15 studies within that actually measured reproducibility or replicability directly. So the rest measured things like kind of proxies, so stuff like whether people actually shared the data, whether they followed reporting guidelines, whether they pre-registered their studies. And those things might help reproducibility for sure, but they're indirect, they don't really prove it. And it gets even trickier because a lot of those studies that they found didn't actually attempt to establish any cause and effect. They were just purely kind of observational, or a lot of them were cross-sectional. So we don't actually know whether those interventions, things like pre-registration or like sharing your data or doing an open peer review, actually cause better science. So these authors put a lot of work in to try and establish a good, strong evidence base that open science works and makes what we do more reproducible. And I wouldn't say that this paper tells you that open science doesn't work. It definitely doesn't say that. What it does say is that we actually still don't really have the evidence to support that open science works. That's kind of ironic because a lot of the papers around open science weren't really open sciencey enough for us to properly make those conclusions. So in theory, open science improves the actual quality of our research, but the evidence for open science itself is still catching up. So if you care about research quality, which you really, really should, then this is definitely a gap that you should try and keep an eye on. Happy reading.